Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Folks, I don't know about you, but I'm having a hard time with all the winning. I don't know what to do. I've got 4 hours with you every day. It's not enough time to cover the winning. It's just not. As the dubs, as Guy calls them, the W's pile up. I don't know what to do. Donald Trump is actually hurting my show with all the winning. He's hurting my show because I'm missing out on some winning because I don't have enough time for all the winning. It's a good problem to have, but I need some winning. Guy's about to say, did you get some sleep last night? I did. You know why? Took some Beam. Go to shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for 47% off your first order. You get it? 47% off. Folks, I had to throw in, look at it. You know why the ink's a separate color on my rundown? Yes, I still write my rundowns down. Writing is good. Typing's not as good. You know why? Because I had to add a whole bunch of new winning in this morning. Because it just happened. Americans still have kitchen table problems. A lot of us are carrying really high credit card balances that charge us 20% or more each and every month. No good. It's time to get rid of those bills. So homeowners, if you've been waiting to figure out how to get your finances in order, call my friends at American Financing today. American Financing salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you tap into their home's equity to get you out of high-interest debt. They're saving the average customer $800 a month by doing this. Saving that kind of money every month should make the decision super easy. All it takes is a 10-minute, no-cost, no-obligation phone call to find out how much you can save. If you start today, you may be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. That's right. Call American Financing today. Here's the number, 888-994-7660. Again, 888-994-7660. Or visit, it's a .net address, AmericanFinancing.net, AmericanFinancing.net. Check them out, NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. It says it twice right there, NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org, in case you missed it the first time. All right, fellas, let's go. I don't know what to do. Here's my personal message to President Trump. Mr. President, I've been there for you from the beginning. And I love you, and you need to keep the winning going. Here we go again, every day. We still can't break these freaking Rock'em Sock'em. What the hell are these things made of? Freaking Wolverine-like titanium? President Trump, screaming liberal. President Trump, we love the winning, but it's just ruining my show. That's right, I can't even keep up with all the winning anymore. I don't even know what to do. This is just in the last few hours. Breaking. I told you about Susan Collins. Did I not? Ladies and gentlemen, Susan Collins is a senator from Maine. I am not telling you I agree with her on a lot of these decisions. She's going to be a -1 a lot. She's going to be a +1 if she feels she can get reelected in Maine. She's the best you're going to do in Maine. Our problem is Murkowski. Murkowski's in a red state. Collins has announced she will be a yes on confirming Tulsi. Excellent. This is a really good move because some other Republicans are giving us a bit of a hard time. She gives us some breathing room. Remember, we have 53. If Tulsi gets out of committee, which I think is going to happen, we're now on a glide path there. Folks, again, the winning is everywhere. This happened yesterday. This is another one you may not have heard about, but it's huge. This is a man I know very well. Full disclosure again, because it's the right thing to do. You know, I'm an investor in Rumble. I know many, Dan, you've told us. I know there are new listeners here. I'm never going to tell you anything where there's a potential conflict without disclosing. Michael Ellis, who was one of our lead attorneys at Rumble, folks, is an amazing guy. He was knee deep in exposing the collusion hoax Spygate scandal. This is the CEO of Rumble. Chris, did you see this winning yesterday? Michael Ellis was appointed deputy director of the CIA. CIA under John Ratcliffe, the director. President Trump announced it yesterday. Chris wanted to thank him for everything he's done for Rumble. A lot of Rumble people moving into the administration there. So thank you, Michael Ellis. More winning. You want some more winning? Here's some more winning for you. I'm throwing winning your way in the opening winning segment of the day. Daily Mail. Canada's Justin Trudeau caves to Trump's tariff threat and strikes $1 billion border agreement. I love how, by the way, I got a text or a tweet this morning from a guy. He says, Dan, be careful. Canada listens to your show too. Well, be careful about what? Did you guys listen to the show? Was I not crystal clear yesterday in the show yesterday? Justin, you were here. Guy was not. Guy did not perform well at his flesh and blood thing. He did not, folks. We are a meritocracy here. It's a shame. He went to the tournament. It did not go well. Everybody give a little somber note. Say, Guy, it'll be okay in the chat, okay? He'll do better next time, but we are a meritocracy. There's only winning here. There's not, what did you get, 12th place or something? There's no such thing. So you were the 11th loser or something. There's no such thing as that. We're harsh here. I lose. I come in the next day. I'm like, we were not the number one live stream. We failed. But a number of people said, hey, Dan, we like you up here in Canada. We love you too. I never said anything different. Justin, did I not say that yesterday? We love our Canadian listeners. This is not a war against Canadian citizens. This is a drug issue. It is also a free trade issue. There's a number of restrictions on American dairy in Canada, financial institutions, tech, free speech. These are real fights with people in the Canadian government. They're not with the Canadian citizens. We love you guys. However, some people said this wasn't a W for Donald Trump. No, it was. Donald Trump was very clear. This is about a drug issue across the border. He made it about the South and the North. And what happened? Canada's Trudeau caves to Trump's tariff threat and strikes $1 billion border agreement, Daily Mail. Excellent. That's what he wanted. Our beef is not with the Canadian citizens, folks. I've said this 1,000 times. You've got a liberal government up there that has been really destroying trade relationships and the Canadian economy too. This is for everybody's benefit. You done with the winning? I'm not done with the winning. And either is President Trump. The judges ruled, Judges ruled again, let the winning continue. Let the winning continue, RFK. Did you miss it? Just happened. If you're listening on demand later in the day, it just happened a little while ago. Senate Finance Committee advances RFK Jr. nomination for HHS Secretary. That's going to happen now. He's not going to lose a floor vote now. Knock on wood. Don't want to get ahead of myself, but absent something crazy, looks like we're on a glide path. We could be good with Tulsi. Fingers crossed. Looks like RFK, we're good. Are we done with the winning? Are we done with the winning? We're not done with the winning, folks. Dan, why are you yelling so much? Because I am in a freaking mood. Folks, every morning I wake up. You know how long the show takes me to put together now? Seriously, I'm not kidding. It used to take 2 hours, sometimes 3. I'd start at 3, sometimes I'd end at 6. The show takes like 45 minutes now because I'm already done with the show by the time I get home because so much freaking winning happens even during the show. During the freaking show. Eric Daughtry, tweet, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000. 20,000 federal workers have taken Donald Trump's buyout to resign offer so far, according to Axios. Ladies and gentlemen. You got to do the flex at the end. Bruce Lee, stop, watch. Remember Bruce Lee, the flex at the end? For those of you wondering what this is, Guy bought me this for Christmas. Karate Man! What is this, Guy? Here, show it for the audience. Zoom in on that. Yu-Gi-Oh! Karate Man? Got to give Justin some love, too. He got me people's up. 20,000 federal workers. Ladies and gentlemen, the winning is just endless these days. The show is almost just like the winning show. Every morning's like freaking Christmas now, is it not? You know what's crazy about that? What do I always tell you, right, about contrasts? Contrasts work in politics. When you say X is going to do this, we're Y, and we're going to do this, and the contrast is so totally different. Contrasts work in your actual life, though, your political life, IRL, what they call it, in real life, too. When you go from a situation we were all in of absolute misery under the Biden tyranny to every day for the last 2 weeks feeling like Christmas. Am I crazy, chatsters? Yes or no? Am I nuts? No, I'm not nuts. Please tell me no, I'm not nuts here. It feels that much better because it's like here's normal levels of happiness, right? Here's us in the Biden years, right? So if you were at normal levels of happiness and now we're here under Trump exceptional levels of happiness, it feels like this amount. But because we were here, it feels like this amount. You get what I'm saying? So it feels like the happiness and the elation is that much better. I know I'm not crazy. This has just been an amazing couple of weeks. And I got to tell you, I am really honored to be a part of it on the content creation side and motivating the Bongino Army to get big things done. However, there is a really big fight out there. And ladies and gentlemen, if you follow the Twitter traffic, the true social traffic, the social traffic out there, you are probably starting to understand the Democrats are in, I don't know, the words meltdown are probably overused. Melting down, meltdown. The Democrats are absolutely freaking out in a total panic over USAID. And please don't call it USAID. It is not an aid agency. It is not. The Democrats call it USAID for a reason. All right, damn, you're picking nits. I'm not picking nits. They call it that because they want you to believe it's about aid. It is not about aid. It's about deep state pockets of money used to infiltrate governments, NGOs, and other places for an anti-American censorship agenda. It's Agency for International Development. You call it USAID. Do not call it USA. Don't fall in the trap. Even Rubio did and then caught himself right away. You'll see what I mean coming up. Folks, I can't explain. Listen to me, okay? Let me calm down a second because I'm very excited about today's show. USAID is probably the single greatest slush fund for the deep state you've ever seen. What do I always tell you? Measure the effectiveness of something you're doing by the level of panic on the left. If they're panicking about something, it's for a freaking reason. If the level of panic was 1 through 100, right, I would gauge the level of the freak out at about a 95 right now. They are losing their minds because their slush fund for censorship, for anti-democratic movement, socialist governments, transgender ideology around the world is going to dry up if Donald Trump does what he's doing with Elon and gets rid of USAID. It is ground zero for the fight against the deep state. Listen to me. Very simply stated, sound bites and snapshots. USAID is the deep state slush fund. You empty it out, the deep state, you'd have to volunteer your services, and none of these people are going to do that. Folks, this is important to me. Seriously for a moment here. I've been fighting this fight for too long. What started with Parler, which, believe me, nobody knows I love when people, I can't say this enough, I love when people comment online about it who have no idea what happened there. What happened there, what started there, what I saw behind the scenes, the left-wing NGOs, the government pressure to stop you from speaking online, what later turned into paralleleconomy.com and then turned into investments in Rumble and elsewhere. What I have seen behind the scenes, the war against free speech by these deep state NGOs funded by places like USAID. Folks, I could fill a book with it. Oh, look, I did. So I wrote books on this. If you read I'm not trying to sell you my book. I'm just saying in advance. Get it from the library. I don't care. Borrow it from your friend. There are 100,000 plus copies out there. My book, Follow the Money. It's right there behind me. My book, Follow the Money. I want you to please read the chapter called Insane in Ukraine. The whole book is about following the money trail, NGOs and stuff like that, how it played into collusion and everything else. But the Insane in Ukraine chapter in my book, Follow the Money, you want to see how USAID, operations like that work with NGOs and Soros and how it fit into Ukraine funding, the impeachment hoax. It's all in the chapter's not even that long. It's about 15 pages. Your eyes will be wide open. It'll blow you away. Follow the Money. Just read that one chapter. That's all I'm asking. Insane in Ukraine. And you'll see why USAID and these other places, why this has been on my mind for a long time. Let me get to some video here. The great Mike Benz, who we love, deep state specialist Mike Benz, a PhD level deep state analyst. Benz posted this video online. This is about a minute of a much longer video. I want you to notice, if you're listening on audio on Apple and Spotify, at the bottom is a little watermark of this video and it says USAID right after you see it. What the hell was USAID funding operations like this, where the first minute of their video is all about censorship disguised as, you guessed it, disinformation? Your tax dollars were funding this. Censorship and USAID to fund it. They have nothing. Do you understand the left's ideas are so crazy? Let me just give you one tangible example of what I mean, of the craziness of the left. Think about the COVID crisis, right? When they told you to put a freaking face diaper on your face that was going to stop COVID, even though every person who wore a mask got COVID. It's like wearing a condom and every time you have sex, getting someone pregnant and getting an STD. The condom doesn't work. If you do, I don't know if it's a bad company, they're all broken, whatever. It did not work. Everyone who wore a mask got COVID. Yet if you posted like I did on YouTube, masks do not stop the transmission of COVID, I was banned, completely banned from YouTube for saying that. If the left doesn't have censorship, common sense filters through. The left can't exist in an ecosystem of common sense. That's it. So they have to censor it. They wanted you to put the diaper on your face so they can tell you they were in charge, even though it didn't work, and censored anyone. Folks, the golden Bongino rule. Watch your political opponent's reaction. When they are freaking out over something, that means target, you're over it. Let's go through what I'm talking about. Receipts incoming. You ready? Here is insane Ilhan Omar, who really seems to dislike this country and the Constitution, all of a sudden freaking out over USAID and claiming it's an affront to the Constitution? The president is at the pinnacle and peak of his power when he is enacting things like foreign policy and as the executive protecting the Constitution against censorship. What the hell is Ilhan Omar talking about? The answer is Ilhan Omar and a lot of other politicians have a very deep vested interest in keeping USAID and the slush fund up and running. Watch this.
It is really, really a sad day in America. We are witnessing a constitutional crisis. We talked about Trump wanting to be a dictator on day one, and here we are. This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like. When you gut the Constitution and you install yourself as the sole power, that is how dictators are made. What Trump and Elon and all of their cronies are trying to do is take away the constitutional power of Congress.
Always, always, always take it all in. Always. Measure the effectiveness of what you're doing by your opponent's response. Folks, when they're not saying anything, what we're doing probably has no impact on them at all. That's why they're not saying anything. They are freaking out for a reason. Do you notice they have two seemingly contradictory positions? You see Margaret Brennan in that clip I'm going to play coming up in a minute with Congressman Brian Mast. Well, what are we worried about? Foreign aid's only 1% of the federal budget. Okay, if that's so, then why are you worried about defunding USAID? I don't understand. You're fighting for it like it's the most pivotal thing in our federal government. On the other hand, you're like, yeah, but you shouldn't be worried about it. It's only 1% of federal funding, foreign aid. You understand how both arguments don't make sense? It doesn't matter that it's 1% or less of foreign aid. What matters is what they're doing with the damn money. Quick break, and I'm going to show you another freak out on the left, proving my point. Listen to me. That's why I titled the show this. The single most important fight going on right now is this fight against USAID. Quick break. You've seen the headlines: cyber attacks on the grid, drones in the sky, violent attacks on Americans. The ugly truth is no leader, no system can protect you from every emergency. Listen, in an emergency, if you're standing on a government food line waiting for help, you're probably going to be dead. When a crisis hits, food's the first casualty. Everybody starts panic buying and empty shelves happen. That's why I've made sure my family's prepared with a 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply for every member of my family, because we need to stay strong in a crisis. The kits have 2,000 calories per day, 12 essential vitamins and minerals you need to keep you strong when every meal matters in an emergency. Plus, My Patriot Supply foods are packed in ultra-durable, heavy-duty pouches and can last up to 2.5 decades in storage. Right now, they're offering $50 off their 4-week emergency food kit, so please don't wait. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com today. Grab yours for $50 off. Don't put it off. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That's MyPatriotSupply.com to get your 4-week emergency food kit today. MyPatriotSupply.com. Back to the show. I want you to watch January 6th tyrant and all-around communist loser Jamie Raskin here. Again, going after Elon Musk for sensing that there's a problem with USAID when he got into the payment systems with the Doge and seeing where all the money was going. Watch Raskin freak out. This is because they need censorship, the left, to exist because their ideas are crazy, and this was their slush fund. Watch this.
Elon Musk. Elon Musk, you didn't create U.S. aid. The United States Congress did for the American people. And just like Elon Musk did not create U.S. aid, he doesn't have the power to destroy it. And who's going to stop him? We are. We're going to stop him.
Notice how the Democrats call it U.S. aid. I'm not picking nits. They want you to believe, because a lot of the liberals, and again, not all Democrats, I don't want to stigmatize people, but a lot of liberals are just stupid followers. So what do? They go, U.S. aid, we're giving a bunch of aid. Aid is a great thing, right? Sure, aid could be wonderful. Aid. It's not aid. That's not what happened. This is a slush fund for the deep state. USAID. Do not make that mistake. They are doing it for a reason. Do you guys remember this gem? I love Senator Rand Paul. I know a lot of you do as well. I'm a conservatarian. This guy's the best conservatarian with Mike Lee in Congress, in the Senate side of the Congress. Here is an exchange. This is an absolutely critical exchange you guys spread around. This is from a while ago. This is Senator Rand Paul versus Obama deep state hack Samantha Power. And I want you to watch her start to kind of freak out a little bit when Senator Rand Paul starts asking questions about USAID, slush fund money, and the creation of the COVID bioweapon. Watch what she does as she starts to play with the words here, and Rand Paul catches her right away. And maybe you'll start to understand why USAID is the fight right now. Watch this.
Ms. Powers, did USAID fund coronavirus research in Wuhan, China?
We did not fund gain-of-function research,
That's not the
as
question.
you know.
The question is, did you fund coronavirus research in Wuhan, China?
Before my time, there was the PREDICT program with which you're familiar, which ended in China in 2019.
Yeah, this is a $200 million program, and the GAO has also identified that some of these grants went directly to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where there is a suspicion that the lab leak began the pandemic. Has USAID awarded funds to the Academy of Military Medical Sciences in China?
Not to my knowledge, but I'd have to get
I think the answer is once again yes. GAO has found that there have been subawards of NIH money as probably as well as USAID money that went to the Academy of not just medical research, military medical research in China.
That's a double. Folks, serious time, okay? I'm telling you as your friend, I'm not patting myself on the back. I don't give a shit enough to do that. I have been involved in this fight for a really long time. With the COVID thing, when I got kicked off YouTube for telling you the truth, Parler, with Rumble, trying desperately to fight back against this deep state slush fund and everything they were doing to censor people. This is a huge fight. You name a global problem, and I can probably tie it back, either directly or by proxy, to entities like USAID. They were operating like a little deep state slush fund cartel banking operation. You name something, it's somehow tied back to illicit government funding. Here's Secretary of State Rubio on this matter. He's clearly going to be at this point a +1 on this. It's all I care about. I want you to notice, too, in this clip, as he talks about USAID and how they're basically were operating on their own, doing their own thing. But notice how he catches himself. And he says USAID because he knows what's going on. And then he calls it USAID. It's not aid. Watch this clip. And I'm going to ask the crazy liberals who watch my show because I know you're out there. Tell me, please, what your issue is with his take on this. You can't because it's a pretty common sense take. Watch this.
Well, look, I mean, my frustration with USAID goes back to my time in Congress. It's a completely unresponsive agency. It's supposed to respond to policy directives of the State Department, and it refuses to do so. So the functions of USAID, there are a lot of functions of USAID that are going to continue, that are going to be part of American foreign policy, but it has to be aligned with American foreign policy. I said very clearly during my confirmation hearing that every dollar we spend and every program we fund, will be aligned with the national interest of the United States. And USAID has a history of sort of ignoring that and deciding that there's somehow a global charity separate from the national interest. These are taxpayer dollars.
For the crazy liberals who listen to my show, and I know you're out there, welcome. It's good to have you here. I love telling you to your face how freaking crazy you are. Please tell me what you object to. The United States voted. They voted for President Trump. In every single swing state, President Trump selected a bunch of cabinet officials to run these enormous government entities who were then confirmed by a Senate you also picked to be Republican. Correct? What did I just say that was wrong? Nothing. Thank you. They have said, these are our goals. This is what you voted for. USAID saying, double-barreled. Those aren't our goals. We don't care what your goals are. Go work in the private sector if you want to do your own private goals. These are public funds. Thank you very much. There's the door. Folks, Stephen Miller, who is Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, was on Laura Ingraham last night. Don't worry, it's not a clippage. But he said exactly what I'm telling you before. For those of you saying, oh my gosh, this is going to lose in court, it may not. You get an activist judge. I think on appeal, if this were to go to the appeals court or even the Supreme Court, the president's going to win, President Trump. He is at the pinnacle of his power acting in the foreign policy space. If USAID is doing things with taxpayer money in direct contradiction to President Trump's foreign policy goals, you're going to have zero case in court on this. Zero. If the president can't run the executive branch of the government, then what's the point of a president or a constitution? Let me play this one more for you. Caroline Leavitt, who it's only been 2 weeks, but is knocking it out of the park as the press secretary. Caroline Leavitt uses this microphone perfectly here. She gets out in front of the media, knowing they're going to be forced to broadcast this, and it's going to go all over social media. And she says, hey, listen, it's interesting how you guys keep saying, oh, this DEI stuff overseas, it's not a big deal. And then when we point out the examples, you don't want to defend any one of them. It's the old Michael Anton. Well, that's not happening, but it's great that it is. DEI funding's no big deal. Okay, here's what we're funding. Oh, well, this is excellent. Watch this. Check this out.
And here's the reason why Elon Musk and others have been taking a look. Because if you look at the waste and abuse that has run through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government. Thank you, guys.
They can't defend it. They cannot defend it. I've got a clip coming up. If you listen to my radio show, Congressman Brian Mast from Florida knocked it out of the park yesterday. He came on to discuss the clip I'm going to play next. I want you to watch Margaret Brennan from CBS get absolutely destroyed again. Well, there's no evidence that we're funding DEI crap overseas, directly contradicting our Constitution. There's no way. Oh, well, here are the examples. Well, this is transactional Trump. It is still a mystery to the libs in the media. They're getting all emotional while Donald Trump sees this as a spreadsheet. That's no good. Get rid of it. But you're supposed to cry about it. People are going to lose their jobs. They shouldn't have had those jobs if they wanted to fight the U.S. government and the American citizen and the voters' policy goals, period. The media is still getting emotional while Donald Trump is working on spreadsheets with Elon. Get on the train, bro, or you're going to get run over by it. Quick break, and I'll show you this clip because Brian Mast is exactly what we need in this position right now in Congress. Transactional. Hey, I used to wake up exhausted, feeling like I was way behind because I was sleeping terribly. I don't know if you've noticed, but over the last 2 years, the show's been a little more energetic. Sometimes to some people's chagrin. It's because I'm sleeping great. Beam's Dream Powder works for me. It's founded in America, run by people who share our values, hard work, integrity, and results. Like, that's it, results. It's a science-backed, healthy nighttime blend packed with ingredients shown to improve sleep so you can wake up refreshed, ready to take on the day. Dream is made with a powerful, all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. Beam has helped improve over 17.5 million nights of sleep, helping people across the country wake up, feel their best. Here's the deal. Beam's giving Bongino Show listeners the ultimate Patriot discount of 47% off. Try their best-selling Dream Powder and get up to 47% off for a limited time. I like that, 47. Go to shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/Bongino. And use code Bongino for up to 47% off. Support an American company. Invest in yourself. Get the best night's sleep of your night tonight. Check it out. Beam. Thank you, Beam. Our last sponsor today, Bone Charge. Folks, the infrared sauna blanket and red light face mask are amazing. I use the sauna blanket. I've been throwing on the red light face mask. It's amazing. Can't recommend them enough. Folks, the power of red light. I strongly encourage you to look it up. And light therapy. I first turned to the sauna blanket a while ago. I have arthritis, was having some issues. And honestly, it's helped me sleep like a champion at night. I do about a half an hour, up to you. I don't know how much you can tolerate, but it's amazing. It's easy to use. You wrap yourself up, let the infrared heat work its magic. I've noticed an amazing difference in my sleep at night and how much better my muscles feel afterwards. The red light face mask, equally impressive. Paula loves it, improves her skin texture, reduces inflammation. I've seen some amazing results as well. Helps me sleep at night. It's like having a mini spa treatment right at your home. I'm into life hacks. Bone Charge is the place for some of the best life hack equipment out there. BONCHARGE, bonecharge.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino at checkout, get 15% off. Both of these products have made such an incredible impact on my wellness routine. Look at Paula's skin. I'm not even going to tell you how old she is because you'll be amazed. You can thank the red light face mask. Look it up. You think I'm making any of this up. Go look it up yourself. Go to Bone Charge, BONCHARGE, bonecharge.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino to save 15%. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the FDA, not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. All right, back to the show. I want you to watch this clip. Brian Mast is now a key figure in Congress on a key committee that's going to determine how the State Department is funded and where the congressional money is allocated. He goes on CBS on the weekend with Margaret Brennan, who just got wrecked by J.D. Vance last week, looking like a buffoon. Here she is making two seemingly contradictory arguments. First, she makes the case that, well, DEI, she's implying that it's so wonderful, but there were really no examples of DEI in government. I thought it was wonderful. And then when Brian Mast cites a bunch of examples, she then says, okay, well, your examples seem right, but it's a small percentage of funding. Is it wonderful or not? Make a coherent argument, media imbeciles. Watch this.
Purging of people throughout the State Department, other agencies, where we're freezing aid. These are all very important and necessary steps to make sure that we secure America, and we're going to support that.
I'm sorry, can I follow up on what you just said there? You want to authorize purging of State Department personnel? What does that mean exactly?
Well, if you want to take a look at the State Department, where DEI has been a priority over, let's say, diplomacy in many accounts, I could give you hundreds of examples of where they were authorizing.
What proof do you have of that?
Sure. Let's list them off. $500,000 to expand atheism in Nepal, $50,000 to do, a transgender opera in Colombia, $47,000 to do an LGBTQ trans comic book in Peru, $20,000 a pop to do drag shows in Ecuador. Shall I continue with more examples of where DEI was the priority?
It certainly seems like there could be a review of things. Foreign aid, as you know, is less than 1% of the entire federal budget. So we're talking small amounts of money by comparison.
We're still talking.
A big decision was just made here. I mean, the mics are muted during these clips. First image, you say this like, Dear Margaret, our show's probably bigger than yours when you consider social, live, everything, audio on demand. So let me tell you from someone who actually dominates you guys in the ratings and stuff overall. Let me give you a little instruction here. Make a coherent argument. Your argument appears to be, as a media communist, DEI is great, but DEI is not great. Show me examples of DEI. Okay, here are the examples. Okay, I just told you it was great, but maybe it's not great. But even though I gave you the examples, it's only a small example. I'm not sure what Margaret Brennan is even arguing. If DEI is such a great thing, then defend it. If Margaret thinks DEI is a bad thing, then she should be asking Brian Mast what they're doing to get rid of it. Margaret Brennan the last 2 weeks, she has humiliated herself. She is really genuinely bad at informing herself. Here's a lesson for you. Pro tip, Mags here. Mags, don't ask a freaking question you don't know the answer to. Do your homework. Don't be a dumbass, because that's what happens. You face plant on TV. Show me examples. Okay. Now, here's the big decision. I'm not making, Anita, if you could throw up the Dopey Media Talking Head Olympics medal winners, please. I would appreciate it. Pin it to the top so everybody knows. We're not making any changes today. This is a big deal, folks. You know, this is not like a small thing here, okay? However, we're going to start, if Margaret continues this streak of face planting, she's giving us great content, by the way, so Mags, keep it up. If this continues, we will consider her for maybe a runner-up, maybe even a bronze spot. It depends. It's still early in the game. You still got your Joy Reids and your others. But this is a big moment, folks. Even Justin was like, I don't know. It's 2 weeks in a row. So Anita says Joy Reid, Joe Scarborough, John Carl, Stelter, honorary mention. John Carl hasn't, guys, I don't know. John Carl has kind of been quiet. So I'm going to say, folks in the chat, yes, we should strongly consider Mags, or no, let it go, leave Carl in the brines. Definitely not taking out Scarborough. Not a chance taking out Joy Reid. Joy Reid's been in that position forever. But I don't know about you. I'm going to let Bongino take care of it. Yes, we should consider this. No, John Carl, who we haven't heard from in a while, stays in the 3 spot. Michael says it's a new year. He is correct. It is a new year. But you guys in the chat, the show's for you. So let me know. Yes, consider it. No, we don't. Wow, we really fry in this. Yes, wow. Bongino on the case. Is there a single no in there? All right. Mags, good news for you. You are definitely in the running. A couple more. See, she's the weekend one. So, guys, a couple more of these, and we're going to have to slide her right into that spot. She's declared eligibility, just like college, like declared for and the pros declared for the draft, okay? She's declared for the draft. Folks, yesterday I brought this up at the beginning of the show. I'm so proud of the fact that you, me, and the Bongino Army, we are always ahead of the argument du jour that people need to make. People start making the arguments. I'm not calling out people by name because it doesn't matter. And let's be honest. Everybody steals everybody's content in this space. They just do. You hear someone say something and someone else takes credit. They just do. But one of the great honors of my life is hearing arguments that started on this show filter into, cable news and elsewhere. And one of the things you're starting to hear now is about transactional Trump. Where'd you hear that first? This guy and this show. The guy is a human spreadsheet, and people can't take it. They keep getting emotional. We're crying. We're deporting people. People are being fired. We're crying. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You don't want to get fired in the government? Don't weaponize the government in your position. You don't want to get deported? Don't come here illegally. Nobody cares about your emotion. We see it as a spreadsheet. It is happening left and right. So when I bring up transactional Trump, people go, prove it. He's not transactional. Okay, I'll prove it to you. Here, put up the Wall Street Journal thing first. I'll get to Yashar in a minute here. Wall Street Journal. Trump advisors now weighing a plan to dismantle education department. You ever see Street Fighter, the game? Oh, you could throw some fireballs. Flex. I told you, man. I told you. Listen to your boy, Dan. You guys, I love when you tear up the chat with Karate Man. This show, man. The Department of Education is probably as big of a fight as USAID. Not bigger, but as big as a fight. The Department of Education, let me tell you something I heard a long time ago. So I'm running for office in Maryland, right? It's my first time. I'm running for Senate. I win the primary, the Republican primary, which, believe me, no one was more surprised than me. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So I'm the Republican nominee. I was like, we were in the primary, like 10 people, and nobody knew who we were. And we just went out there and just destroyed this thing and like just knocked on every door we could, and we won. But I meet this guy in Prince George's County, which is a largely Democratic stronghold. And he said to me, Dan, the whole education bureaucracy is not about education. And I looked at him and I said, it isn't? And I said, what's it about? He said, it's a jobs program. He said, most of the jobs in these big bureaucracies have nothing to do with education and everything to do with administration of education. It's a freaking jobs program. That's why people will fight this. Now, how can I prove it to you that the Department of Education is not about education? Here's The Hill. The Hill is not some right-wing outlet. If anything, it's center-left. More money for schools doesn't always mean better outcomes. Notice this. Spending's been on the rise. A new report from Michigan State, this is from 2019, but the numbers still apply, analyzed long-term education spending records. They found that every state but two, Michigan and West Virginia, education revenue increased from 1995 to 2015. And you know what's weird? The nation's report card, scores are flat or going down in most places. So weird. Spending more money, worse results. More money, worse results. But COVID had a lot to, folks, it's been flat forever. And it's funny, after COVID, well, it's actually horrible, but that the liberals keep making this stupid argument is freaking hilarious to me because dumb people fall for it. Give us all this money after COVID. We're going to fix all this and make everything. And we actually got worse. Transactional Trump is back. And this DEI thing is a perfect example, along with the Department of Education and USAID, of the left being emotional and Trump being a spreadsheet. DEI is awesome. Why? Because it is. That sounds emotional, not spreadsheet based. The same thing about education. More money for education. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. Actually, it's the wrong thing to do. More money has no effect on these education scores at all. I don't care. I know you don't care because you're emotional. Trump doesn't care either. He's a spreadsheet. Get used to it. Get used to it. I'm telling you to get used to it because we're not done. Put that tweet by Yashar up there. Here's Yashar Ali, another one. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is now referring to Elon Musk as an unelected oligarch, encouraging people to call their representatives and ask them what they plan on doing about it. Elon is a spreadsheet too. That is why he's become the perfect target for the left, because they're going to continue to go, you can't cut funding. Funding is taxation. We can cut funding. We can absolutely cut funding, and we will. And we will. Again, folks, transactional Trump. I can't give you these examples enough. He is not making this personal. I'm going to prove it to you with these two clips. Here's Donald Trump yesterday. Donald Trump thinks like this. What do I need from you in Ukraine? I need this war to end. I need you to stop this war. And I need you at least to put on a good enough effort that the Russians are incentivized to stop the war too. The irony here is some amount of support Donald Trump sees for Ukraine will actually help end the thing. Because if he senses some weakness, there's not going to be an incentive for either side to get to a deal. I'm just telling you what is. Or you argue your position all you want, that's fine. I'm just telling you how I think the Trump team sees it. They can't just pull out of the place altogether because then there's no incentive at all for Putin to come to the table. Donald Trump needs this thing to end. However, Donald Trump has also said on Ukraine, you better produce something fast, and we're giving you a shit ton of money. We need something from you too, and you're going to give it to us. You know what we need? Rare earth minerals. Now, you may not hear this anywhere else, but why do we need rare earth minerals? Because Donald Trump, in this case, is playing a little bit of four-dimensional chess. I'm not going to tell you it's with everything, but it certainly is here. Anyone in the chat know why we need rare earth minerals? Because Donald Trump is currently engaged with an appropriate and timely trade war with China, who's been ripping us off forever, stealing our IP, government procurement, screwing us over, threatening Taiwan, threatening World War III. China has been effing us over forever. Donald Trump just levied tariffs on China. You know what China said? Look it up. We're not going to give you rare earth minerals you need for your military equipment. What does Donald Trump say? Double barrel middle finger. We'll go get them from Ukraine. And if you don't give them to us, no more money for Ukraine. Spreadsheets, kids. That's how he sees the world. Get on the train or get run over by it. Here, listen for yourself.
We're telling Ukraine they have very valuable rare earth. We want what we put up to go in terms of a guarantee. We want a guarantee. We're handing them money hand over fist. We're giving them equipment. European is not keeping up with us. They should equalize. And look, we have an ocean in between. They don't. It's more important for them than it is for us. But they're way below us in terms of money. And they should be paying at least equal. They should really be paying much more than us. But let's say equal to us. And they're billions and billions of dollars below. So we're looking to do a deal with Ukraine where they're going to secure what we're giving them with their rare earth and other things.
I'm one of these guys who's going to tell you every single thing that happens is 4D chess, okay? I'm not. This is genius. Donald Trump sees a problem. Follow me. China is effing us over, stealing our intellectual property, screwing us over, and they're communist. They're a problem. How do we fight back? Well, we're not going to nuke China, obviously. So what do we have that they need? They need to sell their made in China products here. Donald Trump says, okay, I'm going to make your products more expensive with a tariff, causing your businesses some problems because you're not helping us out. China says, okay, well, screw you guys. We're not going to give you these rare earth minerals. Trump goes, okay, who are we giving money to around the world? Ukraine. They need our money and the weapons that use rare earth minerals. Hey, Ukraine, you guys have rare earths. Give them over. You see, Bill, we can't do that, man. It's the right thing. You can't demand that. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He is a spreadsheet. I can't explain this to you enough. No, surely this is personal and emotional. It isn't. Here's another one. For all the people who are out there going, oh, he's just mad at Mexico. He's mad at Mexico because they're Hispanic. Really? Last time I checked, Canada is a largely white country. He went after Trudeau up there, too. He's not emotional about that either. It's nothing to do with anything. The liberals are getting emotional. Here he is saying very specifically, talking about Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, who is a socialist, by the way, when she caved yesterday and agreed to 10,000 troops on the border and stopping the fentanyl trafficking. Here's Donald Trump very clearly saying, this isn't personal. I like her, but I need X, and you better produce it. It's not personal, bro. Listen yourself. Check this out.
We had a great talk with Mexico, and we had President Sheinbaum is a woman. I like her very much, and we've had good relationships, but we have to stop fentanyl from coming in, whether I like somebody or not, and we have to stop the illegal aliens from coming in. I think we've lost 200,000 people on average a year for many years, much higher than the 100,000. Could be even closer to 300,000. And they've agreed to put in 10,000 soldiers permanently, like forever, 10,000 soldiers at their side of the border and stop fentanyl and illegal aliens from coming into our country. They have a big incentive to do.
I don't know how many times I have to say this. the Axios, Playbook, the New York Times, the Washington Post, if you would just listen to the most popular MAGA-based show anywhere, you would already understand the Donald Trump that keeps kicking you in the jimmy. You just don't want to understand him. He doesn't dislike Mexico or Canada. He needs something. Stop drug trafficking and illegals. Mexico needs something. We need to trade into the U.S. Okay, I'm not going to let you do that if you don't do this. That's it. Here's a tweet by N Wokeness. Great follow on X. 2 weeks in. Mexico cave, Panama cave, Colombia cave, Venezuela cave, Canada caved. Thank you for the update. Mass deportations, hostages home, DEI programs ended, bureaucracy slashed, FBI purges underway, USAID funding canceled, gender ideology eliminated, Doge saving billions, 51 intel agents lost clearance, border crossings dropped by 93%, reservoirs filled in California, just to name a few. I got another one for you right here. Don't forget what happened in North Carolina and elsewhere at Hurricane Helene. Those are our citizens too. Let's not relegate them to the last chapter in the book. They came first. They have an emergency right now. Oh, look, here's Donald Trump and his administration getting right to work in Ashford, North Carolina too, just to name a few more developments. Let the winning continue. Watch this.
For the next 4 months, this is what you'll be seeing. On Saturday, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, partnering with Ashford, got the approval to begin the next phase of the recovery process.
The next 2 missions we're going to start on, one of them which is right behind us here, which is a critical mission and tremendously challenging of getting the waterway debris out of the stream.
Operation Waterway Debris Removal.
This is what leadership looks like, folks. Let the winning continue. Anita just put something up in the chat I did not know. I knew we were closing in on 3.5 million followers. By the way, Rumble, Chris, if you're watching, you got to get on this, bro. Our Rumble statue, can we get this thing updated? It says the Dan Bongino Show, 2.5 million followers. The camera, oh, the green? I know, it's like, what, the green, because of the green screen thing. We're 7,500 followers away, which is a drop in the bucket from 3.5 million followers on Rumble. So Bongino Army, can you get us there? 3.5 million. I'd really appreciate it. What a slap in the face to the communists at YouTube who banned me when I had 800,000. More for you, though. I'm not done. Don't go anywhere. Folks, again, Democrats can't seem to get their story straight on anything. Margaret Brennan, DEI is great, but there are no examples of it. Here are examples of it. Well, that's not really a lot of money, but what is it? Is DEI great or not? If DEI is great, just defend the money. I don't understand. They're doing the same thing on tariffs. So I'm watching this segment on Fox yesterday, and Robert Wolf is on. He's a Democrat. Nice guy, but never wanted to come on my show when I was on Fox. I don't know if he's afraid of losing an economics argument or whatever, but he's on Fox yesterday debating Steve Moore, and he's trying to make the point that tariffs are taxes, which he's correct about. Tariffs are taxes, period. But it's interesting how he's trying to make the case that tariffs are taxes and they're inflationary because a tax on something makes it cost more, correct? If you have a pen for sale with no tax and then you put a 25% tax, it's more expensive, 25% more expensive. Taxes are inflationary. Really? That's a fascinating argument he makes because the very same Democrats, the Robert Wolfs of the world, these liberal Democrats, are consistently arguing for an increase in the corporate tax, which is a tax on every single product made by every business in America. So you should be asking them if tariffs are taxes, you're correct, I concede your point, and those are inflationary. Isn't a corporate tax the most inflationary tax of all? No, not that one. No, not that one. Really? I want you to listen to this. This is Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon is no right-winger at all. Jamie Dimon from Chase. I'm not even sure if he likes Donald Trump. But here he is talking about tariffs being inflationary. Really? You sure about that? There's always a substitution effect. Corporate taxes, no such thing. Watch this.
Trump talked about tariffs just yesterday. Mary Erdos, your colleague, was on stage talking about how your firm has created a quote-unquote war room that's looking at each of these executive orders as they come in, trying to assess what they mean for the bank and I imagine for your clients.
Yeah. So we always, I mean, war room may be a bad word, but this is a real-time, full thing, analyzing for clients, for communities, for a bank. We get a million questions, stuff like that. And look, I look at tariffs, they are an economic tool. That's it. They're an economic weapon, depending on how you use it and why you use it and stuff like that. And, people argue, is it inflationary and non-inflationary? I would put in perspective, if it's a little inflationary, but it's good for national security, so be it. I mean, get over it. National security trumps a little bit more inflation. But I think the question is how they get used. Can they be used to bring people to the table? Yes. Is there some unfair trade? Yes. Is there some state-owned subsidies? Yes. Is the president going to use that way in his team? Yeah, and we'll see.
This guy's not even a Trump supporter. He's not even close to a MAGA guy or a conservative. And he's even saying, we have to tax at some point something. We have our military to pay for, court system, constitutional role of government. I prefer taxes to be as low as possible. Are tariffs inflationary? Maybe a little bit, depending on in certain spaces. But the trade-off with national security and elsewhere, and if we can lower taxes elsewhere that are disinflationary, then you've got a winning argument every single time. But your liberal friends cannot have it both ways. I'm going to end on this. Ask him, is DEI wonderful or not? If it is, then why are you arguing that there's no funding there? Margaret Brennan, there's no funding. Oh, there is funding. Is DEI great or not? Second, tariffs are inflationary. Why? Because they're taxes. Okay. A corporate tax is a tax on every single thing businesses produce. Is that inflationary? I don't know. Of course you don't know. You're too stupid. Dumb liberals. Don't let them get away with it. Hey, thank you for tuning in today. Again, help us get to 3.5 million so we can update our statue. Chris, we're going to need a new one soon over at Rumble. Hope you're paying attention. Well, you do? What is it? No, wow. 98.7%. I love the screenshot of Mags and base JD with the laser eyes from Superman. So Mags, one more, and you're going to be up there. So good job, Botgino.